we still paying G? But then I thought, well, we have a contract, but who do we have? You know, who do we have, and what are they doing? His
name is Corey Flinchball.
His name is Corey Flinchball? Okay, because maybe I've never met him. I don't know if I did when John went up. So Corey's working in the district. Is he, or maybe John, or whatever, is he the one watching the high school?
These guys, Corey starts mainly down here at Alloway Creek. John, obviously, I mentioned working with Alloway Creek as well, so that's something we coordinate on a daily and weekly basis.
I was just curious because I saw 3 different contracts. I didn't realize that was a substitute. I apologize. I thought that was permanent. They were going to be there, but I didn't understand it was a substitute. So thank you for explaining that. I appreciate it. Not a biggie, just for people to know that I saw that in there. Thanks, Tom and Eric, for explaining that.
Okay. Done? Are we done? Does anybody have any other questions?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Under personnel, we have several general items here. Just a couple notes. Item B, the 6th grade extra math. We are aware that that program is slated to start tomorrow. However, the approval of these supplemental votes, 2 of the 3 participated in this capacity last year. The other one's our new math teacher is going to be coming on board with that as well. And the board member had an issue with extra math taking place prior to the approval.
To be clear, it's actually not going to start until following the voting meeting. With the bid and this notice, we just got behind in getting our kids invited. So it will technically start after that.
So that note is withdrawn. We also have an out-of-state trip for our nurses. Can be any questions, directed to Dr. Pielski, I imagine, or Dr. Harriman. We'll also have the delegate mine and other. We'll have other ones on this report.
And I appreciate the fact that you've already talked about getting reduced some, if it doesn't, if we don't find anything. So I want to appreciate that fact.
Nick, I have a question for you on the 6th grade extra math. Am I to understand that this is $31.50 a day, $900 total for the whole term?
That would be $31.50 an hour.
An hour, that's what I meant, an hour. Sorry.
Right. And
For that whole term, they're only going to max out at $900 each? Or is that 900?
Mr. Sullivan, so they can only be paid after their contracted day. So a teacher's contracted day ends at 2:45.
Oh, I see, it's additional.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So they stay after school a half hour.
Got it.
So they're only making half of 31.50 on Tuesday, and half of 31.50 on Thursday. So
I thought we were bringing them in for the whole day, and I apologize. I misunderstood it when I read it. I'm like, no, I'm thinking it's too cheap. I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah, that's a very slow. And some of that time between, and I'm going to talk about my presentation next week, but some of that time is too spent with communication with families and their planning and prep, and then that extra half hour each day.
Well, I love to see help with that. I love to see it. So that's good.
Are there any other questions on the personnel section?
No, I just comment, I'm happy to see that we have some student, well, they used to be students, or I think they were athletes here in the district, Brandon McClintock and Jake Felix, coming back and working, so that's great.
There's no other questions, then we'll move on to curriculum co-curriculum policy. Just 3 items there. We have our first reading of those listed policies that we covered this past week at the CCP meeting. We will approve the final approval of those 4 policies that we had our first reading last month.
Nick, I hate to back you up a little bit. I apologize. But I wanted to ask, directly ask you a question about the elevate line, just a simple question. These behavior specialists, why are they doing individual therapy?
They need the students to talk about the group for behavioral goals.
Oh, okay, so they are doing individual therapy. And also, LASD, they have a, will they get reimbursed, will we be reimbursed at all for any of this through their insurance?
No.
I'm sorry, Nick.
Any questions on the CCMP?
Well, I think we already talked about the calendar.
Yeah, I was gonna write that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie, I appreciate that. We brought up the academic calendar. One of the items that was brought up during our CCMP committee meeting was the request to be able to start on a Wednesday, have the students start for at least 3 days, not give them 2 days and then 2 days off, and then come back for a full week. So that's an easy fix that we can do, and we can start on that Wednesday. One of the other items that we talked about is the idea of a snow day. And instead of a FID, we long for that traditional snow day, and we also know the benefits of a FID because it provides us with an opportunity to stay engaged with our students. And at the CCMP committee, I entertained the idea that we can bring it up and discuss it at the regular board meeting to see which way, or just at least answer questions about that. Presently, with the parameters that we have beginning that day in August, I believe that's August 18th, and ending at the end of May, getting the hours that we have. And remember, the calendar was just the policy that we have here, 803 school calendar. PDE approved using hours to define a school year. So as long as we have over 900 hours at the elementary, 990 at the secondary, we can count that as a school year. They've broken away from the 180-day requirement. However, our teacher's contract still states that we will have the teachers available for 186 days. So when we look at that, you often look to say, well, what day can I have as a snow makeup day? In this calendar, and as we went through this various ways to try to determine which days could be snow makeup days, which days could not be snow makeup days. We did not find a single day that we could provide as a day off and then use as a snow makeup day. So the other option and alternative that I spoke with our Teachers Association about was the idea of giving one snow day to our students. Could be the first day, could be the second snow day that we have, but giving one snow day to our students and 1 day to our teachers of planning and prep. So that our teachers have a planning and prep day, they meet that day, it still meets the 186 hours. When I shared that with the association president, it was not received like, that's really great, let's do that. I think every teacher that we would talk to would much rather be in front of students teaching and providing them learning experiences as opposed to anything else, anything other than that. But they do understand, and they were going to be meeting this evening as well, talking about potential ideas of what they could do on a planning and prep day if we had one snow day. So my recommendation for this is that if we follow this calendar, that snow day could be something that we don't have to decide on right now for that planning and prep for our teachers, but it is something that we could entertain before the next school year and maybe provide our students with a true snow day where they get to go out and play for a while and come back in.
And still do the FID.
And not do the FID after, not do the FID 1 day, and then the rest of the days would be FIDs. Yep.
Well, are you done?
Yeah, for that part.
Back up to the beginning of the year. What were you saying that you don't want to do 2 days and then?
Instead of coming in on a Thursday,
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday off.
I understand that, but you know, back, I remember a year where we're like, oh, we want our kids to get acclimated to school, so we only want to do Thursday and Friday, and then they'll have the weekend. So, I mean, we're getting them screwed. So.
I brought up last week starting Wednesday, because this
Yeah.
last year we started Wednesday. And so I was kind of threw that in there, that if we started a day early, we could maybe do a traditional snow day, at least one, for the students, not have to make up FID day or anything like that.
We've traditionally started with 2 professional development days at the beginning of the school year, and started our students on that Wednesday. This year, we were being kind and providing Dr. Berryman an additional professional development day, and starting our students on Thursday. Either way, but it's really the board's decision to be
That's
able to
not the
move
reason
forward.
why. The real reason why was the construction, that's what he pushed it back.
Listen, if I was gonna get a third day, I was gonna take it.
I mean, that's calendar originally done, that's what we did.
And that's the reason for the start on August 18th as opposed to the prior day. Those last 2 weeks, those first 2 weeks in August, we really have to wrap everything up with construction and make sure that they're moving out of the spaces that we need for the high school to be able to get back into what we're doing.
Because you know, when my son was little, we started like, and the last week of August,
Mhm.
because we only vacation in the third week.
Mhm.
That's problem with that. But anyway, why is it that we seem to be getting out at the end of May now instead of the end of June? Like, what's this supposed to be at the end of May?
Well, we've done it this past year because of construction.
But I'm talking about this
Yeah,
year, it's gonna be the same reason.
I like that.
Because this is supposed to be all be over by then.
This year,
This
there's a
one.
double, this year there's a double reason. One, Memorial Day, so ending on Memorial Day, you can't have school on Memorial Day. I mean, you think going to school on the hunting Monday was a sacrilege, and going to school on Memorial Day.
Double the work.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Well,
a,
hopefully you're not gonna have construction.
no, we won't have construction at the end of the year for this. But if it is the board's desire to go into that next month of June, typically June is the time that administration and teachers will go through and complete a whole bunch of administrative tasks, sorting data, getting everything together, and closing out the school year by June 30th. The more time that we have to be able to do that and prepare for the upcoming year, the better. However, we are happy to finish right after Memorial Day and graduate and have that whole month of June for students and staff to go and enjoy themselves after a hard year's worth of work. The last thing, are there any other questions about FID, about the start dates or anything there? Because the last thing that I have is, we do have an alternative schedule in February, from February 16th through the 20th. If we meet the criteria. Now, you heard Gil this evening speak about our construction and estimated ending date in November. And he put an asterisk because, as you know, and what he shared this evening, is we are really a month behind. January 17th and January 20th, moving into the new wing, was supposed to be ready for us by December 20th. So with that month delay, we also will have about a month delay for that opportunity to move our students. One of the things that we discussed, talked with a number of teachers, administrators, Victor, a number of maintenance folks, to talk about what that would look like, because I've personally never been through a move and I'm not sure how that's going to look or what that impacts. As we went through, we do know that in May, there's an awful lot of state testing, AP testing, a number of tests that the high schoolers need to be able to complete, and that month is very, very busy and very important for those tests and assessments that we have. Month of April is a number of PSSA assessments that take place. As you look and you try to start the school year, we often reference and know that students begin the school year, and for about 2 weeks, students are acclimating themselves to the schedule, they're acclimating themselves to their surroundings, getting to know what they need to do, and that's when they really start to get comfortable in that third, fourth week to be able to do their work, learn, and be at ease. So as we look at those assessments in April, we really look at that month of March and that time as an acclimation time. So the only opportunity that we really have is February 16th through the 20th. If we meet criteria and have occupancy and those things together and ready by December 19th, I will make a decision and share and communicate with the district that week we will have fit days for our high schoolers and our middle schoolers, and we will begin that transition and movement of our middle school and our middle school staff to the high school, so that in the months of April and May, as we all know, April and May can get very hot very quickly, and it is my desire that if we are able, I would much rather have our middle schoolers out of the middle school next year at that time of year so that they can enjoy a climate-controlled setting, be in an area where they're safe, comfortable, and can learn. But that means we need to have everything finished and completed or on track, a certain criteria met by December 19th, that we say, if we meet this mark, then communication will go out to all districts, especially 6 through 12, that the week of February 16th, we'll have a new schedule. We'll have some asynchronous bids. We'll have some synchronous bids in there. And it'll be an opportunity from February 14th through February 22nd to be able to complete a move of the middle school to the high school.
So there's a lot to think about that this week with everything. How would, if the teachers are gonna be, are they gonna be helping move in their classrooms, how will they be available to the students? For their
Asynchronous, so at least 2 asynchronous days. That means they would place their information for students to be able to complete and do online by themselves.
Right, that's what I'm saying, but if they're moving the classroom, how are they gonna be available to students if they have questions? Or,
Not on those 2 days.
right, okay.
On those
They
2
won't
days,
be at
their
all.
job
Yeah.
would be to be able to move their classroom.
Okay.
If we need another asynchronous day, we can certainly do that. But those, we want to try to space out some time so that teachers do have and can make some connections with kids on those other bid days. We won't. We won't. We need to be able to meet the hours of instruction. And right now, our hours of instruction are about 1,047 hours for a high school. I believe it's 1,000, middle school, 1,053 hours for the middle school. So with the number of days that we would be able to be out, we still would make that 990 hours.
And you know what?
February
You know
2026?
what we're gonna be told to do.
Last year, we had, I think, 3 fit days total for the school.
That was last year.
That was last year.
We're going to do this year.
Yeah.
We're not even in February. My question is, we've got 56, with that, moving in February, that leaves us 54 days left for the students. So for 54 days, we're going to disrupt students. I understand that it's hot, don't get me wrong, for 12 years, I've heard nothing but, it's hot in the building, it's hot up there, it's hot up there, and I understand that. But for 50, you've got these students for the last 54 days, they gotta learn new classrooms, where they're all going, and as you stated, we've got keystones and all the rest of these things that are in there that are very important. My personal opinion, and it's just my personal opinion, leave them alone for 54 days, switch them over at the beginning of the new year.
And that is for the board to decide. As I look at it too, and I don't disagree with what you're saying, that's one point. When I look at the middle school, no offense, Mrs. Golden, but when I look at the middle school and the way the middle school looks and appears for our students, dark, 100 years old, the way that you can't help but do those things in it, the brightness that you'll see at the high school with the new building, that in itself is a great move.
I see why you're not in sales, man.
I get it. I get it.
So,
So they're we get theirs off, I don't want to put them on the spot, but.
No, well, I would like, look, generations of students have made it through that middle school. We'll make it for 3 more
For
months.
54 days.
For 54 days, we'll make it. I don't think those 4 days are enough days to move a whole school during the middle of the school year. You're telling me you're gonna give teachers 2 days to get ready to receive students in the new school?
And the students are teaching themselves for 2 days.
Correct.
And we get enough problems with getting ready. And
I'm as
I-
excited
I
as
know-
anybody, open that
I know
school up
that
and
this is
get
going
into
out,
it.
and I know that, but it's a matter of 2 days that they're not getting education, and then they've got, PSSAs, April 27th through May. They've got the Keystones, May 11th through the 22nd. Another one, another test for the 20th through 24th. So we've got a lot of testing And thank you, Google, for my eyesight, because I can read that. There's a lot of stuff in there, and I don't know, a sixth grader, I gotta learn a whole new classroom, a whole new level, a whole new stuff. That's a lot, that's a lot. I mean, it seems easy not easy for us, but it's, I don't know, that's my opinion.
Carl?
I'm also, you asked, so you get to go.
Oh,
You're on that.
I think part of the situation is how much disruption is there when it's so hot. And maybe historically, you guys can speak to this. On those real hot days, I hear the students get shuttled down to climate-controlled environments, which is either the cafeteria or the gym, or can somebody speak to that and see how much historically, how much disruption that is? Just so you can say, this disruption won't be as bad as that one.
You want the high school and the middle school, or?
Well, obviously, there's disruption about kids and when it's so hot and they can't learn in that environment, so I'm just asking the question.
Again, we're talking a couple of days where that might happen, so in some of the classrooms at the high school that don't have air conditioning, you might have 3 or 4 classes that move to the auditorium, and then they section off so that the teachers can teach without interfering with each other. Some of the teachers will say, hey, like my classroom has air conditioning and I don't have kids in here, period 3 and 5, if you want to, if you want my classroom, let me know. So this is forwarding basically to what they do.
Very similar to middle schools, that we find the classrooms that are air conditioned or the large spaces that are air conditioned to shuttle them off to, as you say. To just be a little more clear, the heat in the middle school is worse in the fall because you're coming off the summer. The building's been hot all summer long. That is when it's very hot. In May, I'm not telling you there aren't warm days in May, but that's not when we suffer the swelter. It's at the start of the school year.
So to their point on the.
I mean, it's hot. I'm not sitting here telling you it's not hot.
No, I'm
You know what I mean?
just trying to get